You know that feeling of dread you get before a big presentation or a major exam? What if I told you that wasn't a weakness? What if that mental checklist of everything that could possibly go wrong was actually your secret weapon? We're about to dive into a powerful way of thinking that totally reframes anxiety, not as something you need to fight, but as something you can actually use. Right? We've all been there. The big day is getting closer, and your mind just races ahead. But you're not picturing a standing ovation, are you? Nope. Instead, it's like you're watching a private horror movie starring, well, you. One filled with missed cues, tech failures, and just totally blanking on what to say. And this isn't just a fleeting worry. For a lot of us, it feels like a full-blown dress rehearsal for a total disaster. So, I gotta ask, does this sound like you? Do you find yourself making a detailed list of every potential pitfall? Like, what if the projector dies? What if I spill coffee all over my notes 2 seconds before I go on stage? What if the Wi-Fi cuts out at the absolute worst moment? If you do this, you're not just worrying, you're basically building a complete library of every possible failure. And here's the thing you probably weren't expecting to hear. That's a good thing. Seriously, that vivid imagination for catastrophe isn't you being negative. It's you getting ready. You're not spiraling out of control, you are in fact strategizing. But of course, the moment you try to explain this to someone, you almost always get hit with the same piece of well-meaning but totally useless advice. Ah, yes, the classic. Just be positive or visualize success. And look, for some people that might work. But for the kind of thinker we're talking about today, that advice isn't just unhelpful. It can actually make things worse. It feels like they're not listening at all, and it completely misses the whole point of what your brain is actually trying to do. You see, for you, forcing yourself to just be positive is kind of like trying to walk a tightrope with a blindfold on. It shuts down that really important preparation instinct that keeps you safe, and it just leaves you feeling exposed and totally unprepared. That kind of blind optimism creates this false sense of security that just falls apart at the first sign of trouble because you haven't done the work to see it coming. So if thinking positive is the wrong approach, then what's the right one? Well, it turns out this whole mental strategy actually has a name, and it's a really powerful one. Let's get into it. Okay, so defensive pessimism. It's not about believing you are definitely going to fail. That's just regular old pessimism, and that usually just makes you want to give up. This is totally different. This is about using the possibility of failure as a powerful motivator. You look ahead, you set the bar low to keep your anxiety in check, and then you use that feeling to fuel really thorough preparation. So this is where we have to make a huge mental shift. You gotta stop seeing your anxiety as this enemy you have to wrestle with. Instead, start seeing it for what it really is, an energy source. It's the engine that's driving you to over-prepare, to double-check everything, and to come up with backup plans. It's a tool that helps you get control. Okay, so how does this actually play out in the real world? How do you take that nervous knot in your stomach and actually turn it into a solid, effective game plan? Well, it's a very specific and very effective mental process. It really breaks down into 4 main steps. First, you set low expectations. Now, this isn't about giving up. It's about taking the pressure off, which instantly lowers the stakes. Next, you do that thing you do so well. You run the mental movie of everything going wrong. Then, and this is the most important part, you channel all that nervous energy into action. You pack a backup charger, you print out your slides just in case, you map out an alternate route to the airport. And finally, all of that hard work pays off. It leads to this genuine, earned feeling of control. You're ready. And this just lays out the difference perfectly. Look at the path on the left. The defensive pessimist feels that anxiety, right? So they prepare for anything and everything, which makes them feel in control. And surprise, surprise, they end up performing really well. Now, the blind optimist on the right forces themselves to be calm, feels unprepared deep down, and then completely panics the second something unexpected happens. The preparation is the game changer. So, let's pull all of this together. If any of what we've been talking about feels familiar, then it is time to completely change how you think about yourself and your own brain. That feeling that you've probably been told your whole life to ignore or get rid of, it's actually one of your biggest assets. It's the very thing that pushes you to be so thorough, so prepared, and so darn good at what you do. It's not a bug, it's fuel. So the next time someone calls you negative or a downer for thinking about what could go wrong, you can just smile, because you know the truth. You are not a pessimist. You are a highly effective strategist, carefully managing your own mind to create the perfect conditions for success. Don't ever forget that. The way your mind works is not a flaw that needs to be fixed. It's a strength that you can learn to use. You are a defensive strategist, and you are built to be ready for anything. So the next time you feel that anxiety creeping in, the real question is, what are you going to build with it?